Hi everyone, Trev from Coiltek. We're just doing some videos on the Equinox coils that we're releasing, the NOX series. We have 3 coil sizes for the NOX series, a 10x5, 14x9 and a 15 inch. And today I'm going to have a bit of a chat with Gordon Heritage, who's a UK detectorist, professional detectorist, and he has been testing and using the coils for some time now. And yeah, I just thought we'd talk with you, Gordon, and have a bit of a chat about the coils.
Hi everyone.
Excellent. So I think essentially, you know, you've been testing for a little bit. You've had all 3 of the sizes. So the first question would be, you know, what's your favourite one? Now, I'm sure you'll get that asked a lot, but what's your favourite coil out of all 3?
Well, all 3 coils have their uses, but I must admit I've been waiting for a long time for a large coil to basically get a little bit deeper than my lab's standard 15-inch coil, and this one does it. And because it's round, it really does get some good depth, and this is what I've been waiting for. I think this is what most NOX users have been waiting for, this big 15-inch round coil.
Yeah, great. The 15-inch round coil is certainly going to be one of the best sellers from our opinion as well. I think it's going to be really popular in many regions around the world. So yeah, obviously the 15x12 by Minelab is a great coil as well. It's been used extensively by many people. So, you know, excellent coil in that regards. But the 15-inch, you know, being round, you know, does it really give that better depth capability?
Yeah, I think a 15x12 coil is a compromise coil. It's got the depth, but it's also mainly set up for sort of extra sensitivity to smaller items, whereas the round coil is just pure grunt. It just reaches down. A round coil will always go deeper with the same sort of area size than an elliptical coil. And this is what I found, that it is really getting down that an extra, I reckon, I can't be absolutely sure, but I think it's got at least an extra inch.
Yeah, you're right. The 15-inch coil does have excellent depth capabilities, and that 1 inch further into the ground can open up so much more ground that people have been over. You know, imagine if that one coin, you know, the Roman coin and the coins that you search for that are the ancient coins, you know, is just out of the range of that 15x12 because it's elliptical.
But one of the big surprises was one of the pastures that I went on had been ploughed once back during the Second World War, because they went out and they ploughed lots of pasture fields that they wouldn't normally plough. So this field's always been good. Deus users have been having good success on these fields over the years. The NOX did well, the CTX did well. Now I took your large coil, the 15-inch coil on the Equinox. It was a 600 I was using on the day, and I went over this area and I found 2 hammered coins missed previously. But what was so surprising is I was expecting maybe a big groat coin, something big, but I've got it here. This is one of the coins that I found that every other machine had missed.
Wow.
And I mean, it's silver. It's a little farthing of Edward I. Now, there's no reason why your 15-inch coil should have got that, but it did. You know, it completely turned what I expected upside down. So although the 15-inch coil is really deep, it's still going to surprise people with the sensitivity it's got.
So yeah, that's right. Because normally you think deep has to be a larger target. You know, you sort of think, okay, I've got something big down here, but when it pops out the ground and it was only a small silver like that, that shows that it can be deep and sensitive at the same time.
Yeah, and that's what I found with this coil.
Yeah, great, excellent. So 15-inch coil for the water. I mean, these are fully submersible. You know, I know you like hunting in some of the little streams and things that you've got there.
You know, a 15-inch coil maybe on the beach. Streams here, I would be going to your smallest coil, the little 10x5. That would be my choice in streams, so I can get in between roots and between rocks. But the 15-inch is for me, it tends to be pastures and fields that have got stuff in, but there's not a lot of junk. So I can get, you know, you don't want too much junk because then a smaller coil is going to be better. So you've got to know when you want to use that 15-inch. But pasture is going to be amazing. And it is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the 15-inch being such a big footprint, yeah, if you get a few targets underneath, it's hard for target separation, and it's probably a good segue to move into the 10x5 coil. You know, the new one that we've got, it's a brand new design, fully injection molded, fully submersible. So I would think that this 10x5 is going to be another great option for, you know, trashy areas and some areas for sensitivity. How have you found that one so far?
Well, as I say, I have mainly been popping into shallow streams, and it's produced. It hasn't found me anything amazing yet. Out of the 3 coils, I haven't found any hammered coins with that one yet. But in the stream, I was finding musket balls and bits and pieces like that, buttons, lots of buttons. So I got to remember, though, I'm in the UK, so we don't particularly like buttons, but I know that, you know, in the States they love buttons. So yeah, this coil has found me lots and lots of buttons.
Oh, that's great. And as far as sensitivity goes, you'd say it'd be better on those real smaller targets too. So if people are looking for a bit of jewelry and you know, I mean, even the nugget hunters out there in Australia and other regions that do use an Equinox for gold hunting, I think the 10x5 will be good. But sensitivity's right up there, obviously a bit better than the 15.
Oh yes, it's a lot more sensitive. Yeah, smaller coils, and especially being elliptical, I think it feels like it's a little bit more sensitive even than the small MyLab coil. Obviously, but with a much bigger footprint. I mean, the trouble with a small round coil is you do tend to feel like you're going over the same ground like 5 times before you take a step. Where at least with the elliptical 10x5, you've got a 10-foot footprint, which is very, very similar to the standard coil, which is great. So that's where it's got the benefit. It's also going to be really good when you got, say, a maize field with maize stubble, getting in between all the main stubble. So it's going to have its use. Out of them, I would say it's you know, if I chose between that and the middle-sized coil, I'd be struggling to, if I had to choose just one, I'd struggle to which one I would have, because that 10x5 is so useful. Obviously the 14x9, then that becomes really, really good as a standard coil. I mean, it's got a big footprint. It's got good sensitivity. So as an all-round coil, the 14.9 is very good. But do I want the specialist coils either side of it?
Yeah.
See, no, just buy all 3.